This is Valley News Live at 5.
A teenager is in jail and another is on the run after a shooting in Bemidji. Police identified Antonio Parkhurst of Bemidji as the additional suspect in a shooting on Tuesday that seriously injured a 17-year-old. Police worked with property owners and witnesses and went through surveillance footage to identify Parkhurst and the juvenile who was already arrested. Anyone with information is encouraged to contact Bemidji Police Detectives at 218-333-9111. Fire destroyed a home in Dilworth this morning at 801 7th Street Northeast. Crews responded about 7:30 to the one-story house. Clay County Sheriff Mark Empting says there was one person inside and that man was taken to a hospital to be treated for smoke inhalation. Sheriff Empting is also the Dilworth fire chief and says firefighters did have some problems maneuvering inside the home. He says the house was packed with items and it was difficult to move around. The state fire marshal is investigating a cause. There's a lot of melting going on out there, and if the snow isn't gone today, for sure, we're hopeful over the next few days. Hutch has some good news about that. He's here now to fill us in on this evening. Hutch?
Andrea, thanks so much. Good evening, everyone. Some of us have a lot more snow to melt than others. Here is a look at some of the snowfall reports that you shared with us. Wyndmere area picking up 8 inches. So not far from Fargo, that heavier band set up and delivered a big punch. Bemidji, you had 6.5 inches. How about Deer Creek with 7.4 and Walcott, 9.5 inches of snow. Here's a couple of other reports. 2.4 in Fargo, 2.8 in Moorhead. Holly, just down the road, almost 7 inches there. 9.5 in Wadena. So a few of you got really close to 10 inches of snow. That, Andrea, is a lot of snow to melt. Right now, we have some clouds over us, but we're going to see some clear air pushing in. That means cold temperatures tonight. We're in the 20s north, 30s south. Sisseton, you're in the 40s. Here's a look at your planner for Fargo. If you're heading out this evening, you can see we've melted a lot of snow. Temperatures will dip down toward those 20s as we head to bed. We're on our way to the teens overnight in the Northern Valley and beyond, but a warming trend is what I'm talking about, and I'll be doing that talking here in a few moments.
Yeah, so maybe it'll take more than the weekend.
10 inches, a little bit of snow.
Yeah.
It'll take a couple days.
Thank you, Hutch.
You bet.
Grand Forks police say a wanted man is now off the streets. 43-year-old Marco Polo was arrested in Fargo by members of the U.S. Marshal Service High Plains Fugitive Task Force and their Metro Street Crimes Unit. Polo was wanted for unlawful possession of a firearm and possession of meth with the intent to deliver. A former Minneapolis police officer charged in George Floyd's death now faces a third-degree murder charge. The judge overseeing Derek Chauvin's trial reinstated that charge today after previously dismissing it. Chauvin is the officer shown in video with his knee on Floyd's neck. Jury selection started Tuesday with the second-degree charge and murder charge and manslaughter.
Murder in the third degree is reinstated as originally charged. In this case, this is not a decision as to the other 3 defendants who are set for trial at a later date.
The judge says he granted the motion because both Mohamed Noor's case and Chauvin's case are factually different, but he does not believe that it's a factual difference that weighs in favor of denying the motion to reinstate. The new COVID relief bill passed the House and the Senate, and that likely means some money is going into your bank account. Supporters of the stimulus package say it'll help Americans struggling financially during the pandemic. This grants $1,400 to people making under $75,000 and $2,800 to married couples who make less than $150,000. Individuals making up to $80,000 and joint filers up to $160,000 will get some money, but not the full amount. The bill also provides $300 a week in enhanced jobless claims benefits through September 6th. It also expands the annual tax credit to $3,600 for children up to age 5 and $3,000 for children ages 6 to 17. In addition to direct payments and child tax credits, the bill will provide $14 billion to distribute vaccines and $49 billion for COVID-19 testing. This includes contact tracing and personal protective equipment, and $125 billion for K through 12 schools and nearly $40 billion for higher education. $39 billion will go to child care grants, $25 billion in rental assistance, and $30 billion for public transit. Weekly jobless claims rose less than expected as President Biden gets ready to sign a $1.9 trillion COVID relief package. The Labor Department reported today that first-time filings for jobless benefits totaled 712,000 for the week ending March 6th, below the 725,000 estimate. Filings for state unemployment benefits have slowed in recent weeks, but remain firmly above pre-pandemic levels. Today's report comes amid mostly positive signs for the U.S. economy. This afternoon, President Joe Biden signed the nearly $2 trillion coronavirus relief bill that he championed into law. It comes ahead of his primetime address to mark the one-year anniversary since COVID-19 was declared a worldwide pandemic. Skylar Henry reports from Capitol Hill.
Thank you for being here.
In his first legislative victory in office, President Biden signed the $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief bill Thursday, delivering financial help to millions of Americans.
This historic legislation is about rebuilding the backbone of this country.
The legislation provides $1,400 checks to millions, billions for vaccinations and school reopening efforts, while increasing the child tax credit and lowering Obamacare insurance premiums. It will also extend weekly federal unemployment benefits to the fall.
People can expect to start seeing direct deposits hit their bank accounts as early as this weekend.
Republican lawmakers criticize the plan as partisan.
It includes hundreds of billions in state bailouts.
The bill signing comes ahead of the president's first primetime address in office. He'll mark the one-year anniversary of the coronavirus pandemic, which has claimed the lives of nearly 530,000 Americans, sickened many others, and caused economic hardship for millions more.
What I'm talking about tonight is the impact on the virus and how we're going to end this pandemic.
On Capitol Hill, the U.S. House of Representatives chaplain offered a prayer to mark the somber anniversary.
Holy God, a year ago, normal was turned on its head. Our whole lives have been tragically upended, and our sense of health and welfare forever threatened.
A new poll finds about 1 in 5 Americans say they lost a relative or close friend to the virus. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Today marks the state capitol, or rather tonight, the state capitol in Bismarck will display lights in the shape of a heart in honor of the lives lost to the virus. Also this evening on Valley News Live at 10, we'll hear from the frontline workers as they look back on the pandemic 1 year after it began. The highly infectious COVID-19 variant, first identified in the United Kingdom, may be more deadly. British researchers compared the death rates among people infected with the new variant, known as B.1.1.7, to those infected with previous circulating strains. Among the nearly 55,000 people in the variant group, a total of 227 had died. That's compared to the 141 who died from the earlier strains. According to the CDC, over 3,000 cases of the B.1.1.7 variant have been reported in the U.S. Today marks the second day of what officials call a vaccination blitz, getting over 2,000 COVID-19 doses into the arms of both West Fargo and Fargo public school teachers. The vaccinations come almost exactly 1 year after schools everywhere shut down as the pandemic exploded in the U.S., timing that brings a sigh of relief to some local teachers.
So to navigate this part a year later and be able to have emotions that are more positive and being hopeful for the future and excited and making steps toward, again, having kids in person is awesome. And so being able to ensure that is just a really good feeling.
Fargo Public Schools says students will go back to distance learning one more time on March 30th and April 1st, so teachers can get their second dose of the vaccine. West Fargo Schools has not yet announced its plans. Sanford is receiving its biggest vaccine distribution to date over the next 2 weeks. This week, Sanford is receiving 2,000 Johnson & Johnson doses. Over the next 2 weeks, though, Sanford will receive between 3,000 and 3,500 doses. If you receive the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, one shot will have you fully vaccinated in 2 weeks. With the Pfizer and Moderna shots, you'll be fully vaccinated 2 weeks after your second dose. With Sanford receiving more vaccines than ever before, it brings the state closer to being vaccinated.
I think everybody's eager that we can just, make it like flu shot clinics. Say, hey, you're ready to, if you want your vaccine, please get your vaccine, and then you can just come in. So that just gets us one more step closer. But in the meantime, we can just offer it to more and more patients.
As of right now, 75% of Sanford employees are vaccinated. Their goal is 90%. The goal for the state of North Dakota is 75%, and we are currently a little over 20% vaccinated. Tonight on Valley News Live at 6, a single mother in Fargo was told to abort her baby with Down syndrome after getting a prenatal diagnosis. The mother kept her baby, and now she's fighting for a better life for her daughter. With the help of Gigi's Playhouse in Fargo, a Down Syndrome Achievement Center, we hear her courageous story tonight at 6. Tonight is also the I Have a Voice Gala for Gigi's Playhouse. It's the 4th annual fundraising event, but the first time they've gone virtual. Valley News teams Jordan Schreier and Lisa Badeau are emceeing tonight's event, which starts at 7:30. If you'd like to get a ticket or donate, you can head to gigisfargo.org. And don't forget, the Bison are back home this week, taking on the Illinois State Redbirds this Saturday at the Fargo Dome. The pregame show starts at 1:30. Kickoff is set for 2:30. You can catch all the action on KVLY. Still to come, the good news that prompted American Airlines to tell employees tear up those furlough papers.
Temperatures today, well, we started warming a little bit. Some of us in southeast North Dakota saw 40s, a lot of 30s as we forecast in Lakes Country, where we're melting a lot of snow. And our tower cam time lapse from Luther Family Ford shows the snow starting to disappear in the FM area. It will, before too long, be warmer. Details next.